Vanda Bhante.
Sukhi hot.
Asking for forgiveness and Ajivatta Magashila.
Yes.
Okasa Vandami Bhante. Dharatayena Mayam Katam Aparadam Kamatu Me Bhante. Dutiyamti Okasa Vandami Bhante. Dharatayena Matam Rabham Aparadam Kamatu Me Bhante. Tatyamti Okasa Vandami Bhante. Dharatayena Mayam Katam Aparadam Kamatu Me Bhante. Asking for
Amam.
Ajivatta.
Yeah.
Okasa Aham Bhante. Tisaranena Sa Ajivatta Magashilang Dhammang Yachami. Anugaham Katva Shilam Detame Bhante. Dutiyamti Okasa Aham Bhante. Tisaranena Sa Ajivatta Magashilang Dhammang Yachami. Anugaham Katva Shilam Detame Bhante. Tatyamti Okasa Aham Bhante. Te Saranena Sa Ajivatta Magashilang Dhammang Yachami. Anugaham Katva Shilam Detame Bhante.
Yamahang vadami tvang vadheta.
Aham Bhante.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Ditiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Ditiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Ditiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Saranaгаmanang sampunnang.
Aham Bhante.
Panati pata viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinna dana viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinnadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kamesu michhachara viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kamesu michchachara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Pisuna vacha viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Vishuna vacha veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Parusa vacha viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Parusa vacha veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Sampappalapa Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Sampappalapa Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Micha Ajiva Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Micha Ajiva Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami.
Tisaranena Saddhing Ajivattamaka Silang Dhammang Sadhukang Surakkitang Katva Apamadena Sampade Tabbang.
Yam Bhante
Okay.
Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu.
Okay. Dear listeners, subject to the discourse today is Nibbana. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa etang santang etang panitang yadidang sabba sankhara samato sabubati patinisaggo tanhakkayo virago nirodo nibbana. This is peaceful, this is excellent, namely the stilling of all preparations, the relinquishment of all assets, the destruction of craving, detachment, cessation, that is called Nibbana. The explanation of Nibbana is just stilling of all preparations of the mind and the relinquishment of all assets, that is called Panchakanda, are the things which we took as our assets, the relinquishment of all those, and the destruction of craving. For what we crave, sometimes we crave to gain something, sometimes we crave to get rid of something, sometimes we crave to continue something. Destruction of that craving. So, and the detachment and the cessation of the idea of existence, and that is called Nibbana. Usually, the aim, the goal of all Buddhists are just to stop the cycle of birth and rebirth and overcome from the stress and suffering in this very life. There are simply two things. First, we need to overcome from the suffering, and we need to stop the cycle of birth and rebirth. That is what we really need. That is what we are really expecting from the Dhamma practice. So, that's a simple formula in the life and the existence. If they are with the life, with the existence and the Nibbana, what is that? If we need, if we like to exist, we can, when is there existence, there is craving, there is desires, there is involvement, there is motivation. But if we need to stop the existence, if we need to overcome from the stress and suffering, and if we need to stop the cycle of birth and rebirth, we must have to stop the motivation, desires, craving, and etc. Actually, we are so fortunate to being in a human's world, because why? As humans, the danger of sensual pleasures are so uncovered. In a God's world, that means in heavens, the karma, the danger of sensual pleasures are covered by their punya, their merits. At least they are, in the heavens, the God's body is also not ugly. And they're always sensating the sensual pleasures. At least it is very hard to find a time for meditation or for the relinquishment of all kind of desires. But you just need to understand the destination. Destination always is the stilling of all preparations, the relinquishment of all assets. Because why? I said to you, it is like a simple formula. If you really need to exist, there's desires, there's craving, there's motivation, there's all kind of desires. But if we need to stop the existence, we have to get rid of all kind of desires and motivations and everything what we are thinking, because our whole life, our whole body and the mind are programmed to go through in the life, go through the existence, go through one birth to another birth. It is so normal. We are feeling lust, hatred, desires, and sometimes proud, any thought, because our body and mind is for the existence. It is for the becoming. It is for go to one life to another life. For that is why the lust is essential. Because our life, when someone born in newly born, his life like a empty paper. That paper paper is written by their parents, elders, and the priests, and etc. According to that, in the small times, that child will think he is searching the love of their parents. After that, he loved to play. After that, he is involved in education. After some years, he will search for a love from another girl or a boy. And after that, he may think he will like to get married, and sometimes he will like to have children. And again, he feel to he feel to do the responsibilities of their children and become happy. And again, he will like to have grandchildren. After that, once he again look at in the past to his life back, he will think that is, I have not gained anything, just my life is wasted. That is the real thing, because our mind and the body is programmed to run in this, to go through in this samsara. Because lust is for the existence, hatred is for the existence, proud is for the existence, everything for the exist. Because if we don't have lust, we can't exist, because it gives us a goal to live. But if someone needs to stop the existence, stop the cycle of birth and rebirth, he must have to cut off all kind of fetters which we have joined with the samsara. So the path of that, Lord Buddha was simply explained in Satipatthana Sutta within 4 mindfulness bases. What are those? Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, and Dhammanupassana. If I summarize them very shortly, Kayanupassana means Lord Buddha was firstly asked to be aware to our body. Once we become aware again and again to our body, we will feel the body is not I am, and it is like a machine. As an example, you may listen, in the modern science, the scientists are explaining, once we feel some kind of desire, it is because of the hormones like dopamine. If we feel some kind of desire or hatred, it is also because of the function of the brain, like with the hormones. But once the desires coming in their minds, in their life, they can't handle it. But Lord Buddha also preached the thing same like that. He also just told those panchakhanda, body, sensations, perceptions, volitional activities, and the cognitions, consciousnesses. Those are not created by you, and those are not created by someone else. It is just a mechanism, just a cause and an effect. There is no creator. It's not created by you. It's not created by anyone else. It is like a machine, and it is so equal with the modern science also. They also telling it is not, there is no creator. It is because of the preparation of hormones. Lord Buddha had not talked about hormones, but he just told us that is because of it is not under your control. It is not making by you. Let it. So we really need to stop the cycle of birth and rebirth. We have to find a state of stilling of all preparations, because the Four Noble Truths are within us. In this very moment, we can find the Four Noble Truths. Because what is the dukkha? Lord Buddha is explaining the deepest explanation of dukkha as the sankhara dukkha. Because preparation is also suffering. If we have any kind of motivation, at least to gain something, to get rid of something, to continue something, there's a mental fatigue, mental restlessness if we have any kind of mental preparation. Our life, like a water of a river, we can't point out any water in the river because the same water we can't experience at least 1 second. If you point out this is the water what I have experienced, it is already gone. And you can't point out those are the water what I am going to experience 2 seconds before, 2 seconds after. You can't point out it because the time you are pointing out, it is changing. So the actual thing, what we can experience is just here, just now. The cognition, what we are experiencing in this very moment. Because other all kind of thoughts are preparations. If you look at your hand, if you think, this is my hand, this is my hand, it is just a thought what arises in your mind. And never tell you, I am yours, yours mine. It's just a thought what arises in your mind and passing away in this very moment. And if your hand comes in front of your eyes, it is just a cognition of the eye, nothing else. If you are pointing out this hand as a hand, that means you always cling to a cognition of past. After you after you cling to the past cognition, after that you are telling this is my hand. Because like that comparison, like the water of river, anytime you can't point out anything because in the time of your pointing out, it is changed completely. Because what we can experience is just this very moment. Because that is why Lord Buddha has explained the Nibbana means the stilling of all preparations. And the relinquishment of all assets. What are the assets? The body is our asset. We are thinking the body is my asset. And the sensations are my asset. And the perceptions are mine, is I am. And the mental preparations also we are thinking, those are mine, those are I am thinking, like so. And the cognitions also you are thinking, I am cognizing, I am looking, I am hearing, I am sensing, I am cognizing, and etc. So, but Lord Buddha explained us, 5 clicking aggregates are not mine, not our soul, not under our control, because we can't control them. Because body is like a machine. it is changing according to the causes. What we are eating, what is about the weather, what is about the according to their mother and father, it also changing. And the sensations also same. We can't expect my sensations be like that, don't be like that. Because once once we have recognized that is what we are sensing. So the sensation also not created by you or not created by any god or someone else. It is just because of the, if I blames you now, you will feel unpleasant sensation because not, it is not created by you. And that unpleasant sensation not created by me. Because of that sound, because of that cognition, the sensation arises according to that sound. So when once the sound is disappear, the sensations are gone. Look at your past. In your past, you may feel any some kind of unpleasant sensations, pleasant sensations, and some kind of mental preparations. At this moment, those all are ceased completely, nothing remains. But in that time, when someone blames you, you were thinking about, with your mind chattering about, I am, oh, he must not blame like this to me, and etc. But in now, once you look at the past, maybe you can't even memorize those incidents. But at that moment, you will cling to that sensation, you will cling to that mental preparations because of the ignorance. Lord Buddha just asked us to understand ourselves. If I tell it very shortly, as just as like a robot, as like a robot who has artificial intelligence. Because robot can't robot can see the world with the cameras and the speakers and the microphones, but robots cannot explain, proclaim that I am living, the world is existing. Because at the time he's telling the world is there, I am here, it also just a thought. It is also just a data, what arises that Robert's mindset, not the mind, Robert's mechanism. In the same manner, we are explaining because the everything means, all means, eye, visuals, ears, sounds, nose, smells, tongue, tastes, body, intangibles, mind and thoughts, nothing else. Once we take something as a thing, if we think at least the world is existing, it's also just a thought what arises in your mind. Lord Buddha never proclaimed there is no world, and he never proclaimed there is a world, because it what he has said, but those ideas just arise in your mind. You can compare this to that comparison what I have preached before, the water of the river. Once you point out something, it completely changed. At the time of pointing out, it is gone. It is not remain anymore. So that is why Lord Buddha's invention of meditation is Satipatthana. First, he asked us to mindful to our body. We can do anything without mindfulness, without awareness, like a machine. And you can do anything with your mindfulness, with the awareness, to complete concentration to your postures. And there's a huge and tremendous joy once you taking your postures with full of mindfulness and full of awareness, because that is the simplest method. You can make your mind clear and concentrate yourself very easily. After you train the mindfulness to your body, then you can mindful to your sensations. If you do anything, maybe listen to a song, maybe listen to the TV, and maybe talk with somebody, you just can aware to the sensations as a waves. The sensations go to the peak and to the valley, because every peak has a valley and every valley has a peak. In the same manner, every pleasant sensation has an unpleasant sensation, and every unpleasant sensations over the over of the final point of unpleasant sensation means a pleasant sensation. Once you're aware to the sensations, you can feel. Once you're aware to the sensations, you can feel peak of the pleasant sensations and the cessations of the that pleasant sensations, and again arising some unpleasant sensations, arising passing of the unpleasant sensations. Once you're aware to the sensations again and again, it so once you again and again mindful to the sensations, you will understand the sensations coming and passing, and you have nothing to do with it. But if you don't have the proper experience about the rising and passing of sensations, you can't go, you will catch to them. Once the pleasant sensations arise in yourself, you are caught to them and go through them. Once you, once the unpleasant sensations arise with you, you become afraid of them and you are trying to get rid of it. But again and again, you mindful to your sensations. It may be okay. Anything will happen. You have a proper maturity. If there's a pleasant sensation, it will definitely cease sooner or later. And if there are unpleasant sensation, you will mature enough to not to cling to them, because you have an experience, because you were aware to those sensations. Oh, those every unpleasant sensations are, if they arise, they will pass away sooner or later. So that the deepest point of that comprehension, what that is what a Sotapanna person has understand in his experience, in Nibbana experience in time. Yankinchi samudaya dhammang sabbantan nirodha dhammang. If anything arises, those all will cease. Dear listeners, there are three qualities of the Sankata things and the Asankata things. You may heard about the Sankata and Asankata. Sankata mean the preparated things. Asankata mean unpreparated things. Lord Buddha has explained the only unpreparated thing is Nibbana. Other everything are prepared by your mind and prepared by your thoughts. If you think about your mother, it also just a thought what arose in your mind and passed away. If you think about any societal problem or your life problem, it also just a preparation of your mind. So Lord Buddha, that's why he told the every prepared thing has an arising, has a passing away, and a changing. In the Sutta Pitaka, Lord Buddha put that the third option, changing, as the third option. Upado panyayati, vayo panyayati, titasanya tatam panyayati. That means there's a arising and the passing away and the changing. Because Sutta Pitaka always programmed to look at uh, according to our experiences, because usually we can't experience uh, the changing, because that is why Lord Buddha put that changing is the third option. Because as an example, if you listen to if you feeling any kind of sound and you are feeling a pleasant sensation, you can understand the arising of that sensation, and you can understand the cessation of the sensation. And after that, you got you will got the idea, oh, my sensation, my pleasant sensation was totally changed now. So according to our experiences, that is the order we can experience. The upado panyayati, arising, can be seen, and the vayo panyayati, the passing away, can be seen, and the tita sanya tatam panyayati, um, and we can see the changing of those two experiences. But in the explanation of asankata dhatu, explanation of Nibbana, Lord Buddha has proclaimed Nibbana is not preparated. That is the only thing which is not preparated by mind, not preparated by thoughts. Because Nibbana means the stilling of all kind of preparations. That's why Nibbana has no, if someone experiencing the stilling of all preparation, that mental state, he can't find an arising of anything. He can't find any passing away of anything. He can't find any changing, just the total awareness, immense awareness, no any destruction, total awareness. So that is what the Nibbana, for that state of mind, Lord Buddha proclaimed the Satipatthana. In the ancient India, and so many spiritual teachers in the Eastern and Western world was took so many the Lord Buddha's ideologies, and they are teaching them as their own things. But those so many the modern people, they took those spiritual value, spiritual ideas from the Lord Buddha, and they are preaching as their uh, as as their knowledge. So, however, the Satipatthana is firstly preached by the Lord Buddha. The way of stilling of all preparations is firstly proclaimed by the Supreme Buddha. How? First, to aware to our body. Secondly, aware to our sensations. Thirdly, aware to the thoughts, what arising and passing away in our mind. And fourthly, finally, once we are aware to our thoughts, we are feeling, oh, the lust is coming, oh, it is going away. And the hatred coming, and it's passing away. You can see the waves of your thoughts. Once you're aware and aware again and again, you will be mature about the thoughts. And you know, if any thought arises in myself, it will gone completely in sooner or later, in usually within 1 day or 2 days, in the rough manner. So once you understand those again and again, your thoughts, the quantity of your thoughts will be more decreased. After that, you just have the subtle mental states. In the Dhamma Anupassana, Lord Buddha asks us to be aware to them also. Sometimes we feel some kind of crazinesses. Sometimes we feel so lazy. Sometimes we are feeling, oh, so terrible, and etc. for the thoughts also, we are taking as I am experiencing. I am experiencing the emptiness. I am experiencing the concentration. The concentration is there. I am experiencing it. But it also preparation of your mind. Then finally, Lord would ask us to be aware to them, be watchful to them, be a witness to the mental states also, subtle mental moods and emotions also. Once you're aware to your moods and your subtle mental states, then there is no way to prepare any thought in your mind. Because if even to the subtle mental states like emptiness, like concentration, for that also you are fully awakened. So there is no time to get caught to any kind of past or future, any kind of thought, any kind of experience. You just experience what is going now. Like you are just experiencing the water which is passing through you. You're never pointing out the early water or the past water or the future water. So that is how someone can attain the stilling of all preparations, the relinquishment of all assets, the destruction of craving. Because craving always gives us craving always gives us the mental fatigue. If we're going to cling something, if you're going to desiring something, it always make our mind so harder. If we at least a little motivation to do anything, it really causes us to mental fatigue, suffer. You may be feeling, oh, I have to cook for the today, so I have to leave from the meeting. In that thought also gives you a mental restlessness, fatigue. So the Four Noble Truths are here and now, in this very moment. That preparation is the dukkha, and the motivation to that preparation is the cause of the suffering. And if there's no motivation, no desire to that thought, to continue that thought, or to get rid of that thought, or to gain that thought, if there's no craving, no desire, no motivation, there is no suffering. And the way to cease the suffering is understand this with the right vision, and keep your thoughts according to that right vision, and become virtuous, and do effort to continue your understanding, to continue your comprehension with the four mindfulness bases called satipatthana. Once you practice the satipatthana forcefully, step by step, it will be the mindfulness, the stealing of all preparations will be with you without any force, without any your forcing. So that is the way to cease the suffering. That is the path, the Nibbana Gamini Patipada. Because you may heard about the past arahants and past people who have attained the fruits of Dhamma while listening to the Dhamma, while first meditation time. Because Dhamma always timeless. Dhamma is akhaliko. It has the same quality in the past, in the future, in the present moment, and the future too. Because it is just a very simple formula. If there's engagements, if there's desires, if there's any kind of motivation to the existence, there's life, there's becoming. But if we can get rid of every kind of desires, at least if we're not continuing any kind of small, even very small desire to gain or get rid of, or to continue, or anything, there is the way to cease the suffering. You have to practice your Dhamma practice in this very moment. Once your mind showing you in now to get rid of some thought, you just understand, oh, this is the truth of suffering. So that is how you have to practice, and you have to get rid of all kind of desires, maybe to gain or get rid of or to continue anything in the world. And always keep the destination in your mind. Destination always the stilling of all preparations. The path to stilling of all preparations is just satipatthana. Aware to your body, be aware to your sensations, be aware to your thoughts. After that, be aware to the subtle mental states, even emptiness. Once you're aware to the emptiness, you will understand there is only an awareness. There is the observer also just an observing, the witness also just an witnessing, nothing else. The mind is fully stopped, no any preparations. And Lord Buddha has proclaimed that is the eternal happiness what we can gain in this our life. So that is the full of detachment, that is the full of cessation of existence, because we have no any idea there's a world, there's I am. In this manner, you can liberate yourself. You can overcome from any kind of mental problem, any kind of societal problem, any kind of existential problem, any kind of stress or fatigue in this pattern. So practice your Dhamma, practice and meditations more harder and harder, and always remember the destination, that is the stilling of all preparations. If there's any kind of mental preparations, any kind of thoughts, that means you are in the suffering, you are in the dukkha satya, you are in the truth of suffering. If there's no mental preparations, that is our land, what Lord Buddha has, our father has given us. So that is the free land. So just living the satipatthana, living in the fully awareness to your body, sensations, thoughts, and the all subtle mental states. So understand properly and ask the questions if you don't know any, if you can't understand anything with a teacher. Then always remember the destination and live your life completely, immensely in this very moment, without going to the past or the future, because past also just a thought, future also just an illusion what arises in this very moment. So everything, in every situation, just become a witness. That is what I have to preach you today, and I hope you will practice this and you will take this to your life and attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana in this Gautama Lord Supreme Buddha's dispensation as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Is there any questions? Is there any questions? Anyone can ask now. Any questions? So then I will stop at the moment. We can,
Bhante, one hand.
yeah.
Unmute करा. नरेंद्र भालेराव. अनम्यूट करा. JYK अनम्यूट करा.
Hello.
हाँ
Yeah.
बोला.
Vanda me Bhante.
Yes.
Bhante, one doubt I want to ask is this: you was telling this stealing of preparation and mental preparation. Please elaborate me more on this. I was unable to understand the stealing of preparation and mental preparation. That thing.
Yeah. Stealing of all preparations mean there is firstly we cognize everything with a mental preparation. At least we are looking at our hand. If we telling this is our hand, it also just a preparation. If we thinking I have to do this thing, it also mental preparation. Firstly, we must we have to get rid of those mental preparations first with the wisdom. After that, the rough preparations will be stopped, but the subtle preparations will be there, like an emptiness, like some kind of craziness in the mind, sometimes some kind of the painful subtle states of the mind. For those also, be aware to them. Once we aware to them, it also just um, just just watching, because no duality. There's an empty, there's a concentration, and I am watching. There is no duality. There's no duality. It is just a witnessing, just an awareness. So that is how someone someone can attain the stealing of all preparations, because the most subtle preparation is that under that that subtle mental states, like emptinesses and some kind of mental subtle states. Isn't it enough?
Yes, Bhante ji. Yes. Thank you, Bhante ji.
Bhante, one question from chat box.
Yeah.
Hold on.
One goal. What is the goal of the meditation?
Just one question. Planning for the daily activities is also defilement?
Sorry?
Planning for daily activity is also defilement?
No. The planning means Lord Buddha also planned in his life, this month I will cover those states and etc. You also can do anything with your awareness. First you think, oh, this is essential to think about. So you just contemplate on that object and just plan it and keep it away. Again, not thinking about it. That the defilements are the things what is chattering in your mind without your permission. So that is what we have to stop. For that, because of them, it goes to suffer. But if we do any kind of planning to the day-to-day living, we can do that planning with a proper awareness or proper mindfulness. It is okay.
Okay, Bhante. Can you take one more question?
Yeah. The goal of the meditation in the life, we just to get
yes
so empty our brain. The goal of meditation is really the stop the craving, destruction of craving. Because if there's no craving, there is no becoming. And there is no craving, there is no suffering in this very life also. For that we are meditating. The path of overcoming of craving is meditation. If you really need to overcome from the craving, we have to find the state of the something more enjoyable than the craving gives us, the sensual pleasures gives us. So that is why Lord Buddha has proclaimed the Nibbanam Paramang Sukhang. Nibbana is the eternal happiness, because all other kind of happinesses are created by our thoughts. Once we look at some kind of a baby, and it also, that happiness also prepared by ourselves. Oh, this baby's nose is like this, the skin is like this, oh, very nice, like that way we are preparing and feeling the sensation. If you look at some woman or a man, there's also a prepared happiness. But the real happiness, the eternal happiness, the tremendous happiness, is with the stilling of all preparations. So we practice our meditation to stilling of all our preparations, to stop the craving, because Lord Buddha has proclaimed, because of the ignorance and the craving, we are going through the samsara, ignorance and the craving. When someone understand, when someone attend the stream entering Sotapanna, he understands the ignorance, what is ignorance, but he has the craving, he can't control the craving. That is why we called the Sotapanna as the stream enterer. That is the point his Dhamma mission is starting. Now he has to, now he is know the ignorance, and now he has to fight with the craving. The weapon of the fighting is the meditation, is the satipatthana, is the stilling of all preparations. Now he's again and again try to put his mind to the stilling of all preparations. Then his lust and the hatred will be reduced, and he will attain the anagami, the non-returnership. And finally, the anagami person also has a subtle idea about myself. Once he understands this is a total mechanism, that idea also will vanish. Then he can attain the arahantship. I must emphasize, the enlightenment can be say here and now, not in the next life, not in the heaven, in this very life. If the Dhamma is not, if we can't understand, if we can't experience the enlightenment in this life, this Dhamma is not much valuable if we can't understand it here and now. We are telling always, we are chanting Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditthiko. Dhamma can be seen here and now. That is why we call it as Sanditthika. So we have to put our faith on that quality, and we have to practice our practice according to Lord Buddha's preachings. Is it enough?
Okay, Bhante. Can we take last question?
Yeah.
Detachment is the only way to overcome from suffering, but in lay life, how can we practice to detach from everything?
If you like or not, if someone needs to get away of the suffering or the samsara, the only way is detachment, only way is abandonment. The Dhamma is the art of abandoning. That is the truth. But as a lay person, he just can understand the reality of the life and just practice it step by step. And step by step, once his comprehension go more deeper and deeper, then he can automatically, everything will abandon by yourself. Your family, businesses, everything will abandon automatically. No need to abandon it forcefully. Just need the proper understanding.
Yes, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, blessings, Bhante.
Yeah. So I bless you all to be happy and have a peaceful long life with the blessings of Noble Triple Gems. Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devatha sabba buddhanubhavena sadha sutti bhavantu te. Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devatha sabba dhammanubhavena sadha sutti bhavantu te. Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devatha sabba sanghanubhavena sadha sutti bhavantu te. Okay.
Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much on all meditators. Thanks again.
You're welcome.